for joining us that affect us as a nation, affect us as individuals, and of course, to a larger extent, it's something that also permeates between national borders, because all over the place where we have conflicts, issues of amnesty and the rest of them will always come up. And that's why today we are going to look at a topic: should amnesty be granted to armed bandits? That's what we're going to look at. My name is Kyle Taiwo, your anchor on the program today. And in the house, I have two gentlemen with me that together we shall be looking at this. But before I introduce my guests, let me just quickly let you know that when you're talking about amnesty, we are only talking about perhaps government looking at a way of giving those unauthorized armed either groups, I don't want to use the word bandits again, and when it comes to finding a way around it so that they won't engage in all their activities that are antisocial, rape, killing and all of that, that okay, lay down your arms and we will rehabilitate you and all of that. That is what we are going to look at. Should these bandits be given amnesty? That's what we are going to look at on the program today. And I have with me a barrister at law, Barrister George OYENIYI is here in the house. It's nice having you join us.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And I also have an educationist in the house, one who has also done quite a number of research when it comes to issues relating to man, education, and existence. Dr. Rashid ADETORO.
It's my pleasure being with you again, the moderator.
All right. So the question still remains that should amnesty be granted to armed bandits? And okay, let me start from the barrister, because I want us to legally situate this word amnesty. You will recall that sometimes ago, when President Umar Yar'Adua came on board, it was the issue of the militants in the Niger Delta that were destroying national monuments at that time. I now said, hey, come, can we find a way around this? If you lay down your arms, we can do something. And that process was what led to the first set of amnesty. What is this amnesty?
We talk about amnesty. It can be said to be out of granting pardon to an offender. You know, somebody that we know that he has run foul of the law, and though he might not have been condemned or convicted, but we know very well with the act of such a person, he needs to be punished. We now give a blanket, opportunity to such a person that well, we overlook what you have done and go and sin no more. You have a change of life, a change of ways of life, and possibly like in the case of the militants, the Niger Delta, the condition for government granting them such amnesty is for them also to reciprocate the gesture of the government by laying down their arms and take to a good living as in being a law-abiding citizen. So amnesty can only be granted to people that knows that what they are doing is wrong and they are ready to have a change of life. So it's an act of forgiving such an offender. Say, okay, go and sin no more. We overlook what you have done that has run foul of the law.
Okay. All right. Efforts to tell someone who has been doing something bad that, okay, the ones you have done, we have forgiven you, don't do any other one. All right. But, Doctor, when we're talking about go and sin no more, and let's assume that, okay, we have an estimated number of X. Like they say in mathematical environment, everything is about X. But these days I've not really been seeing this X. All right, and we now say, okay, we have this A, B willing to render their, I mean, all their dangerous weapons and all of that. Okay, but we still have between A, B before we get to X. We have C, D, and all of those stuff. And do you think granting some, this amnesty will probably lead to others coming up to say, okay, we want to lay down our arms?
Well, thank you, the moderator. I know we have had a precedent of amnesty in this country, and so far so good, at least with a passport. But that one focused on actually an agitation by a group of people who felt they've been marginalized in the scheme of economic distribution. And that was a kind of fallout of resource control agitation by the Niger Delta militants. But I guess the extension of the amnesty you are talking about is about a lot of the criminality that have a lot of contradictions that we are having in the so-called Northwest, North Central, even getting to the Southwest and Southeast today. I think caution has to be made. We must be able to separate between genuine agitators, marginalized agitators, and criminals.
Okay.
Because these things border on psychological status of the mind. If you grant agitators amnesty, quite fine. It's easy for them to have a change of heart because you might have granted solutions to some of the agitations to some extent.
Okay.
And of course, they are more focused, they are more purposeful. But the hardened criminals, I'm worried whether the situation of amnesty could suit their own purpose. Rather, to me, I believe we just have to strengthen our infrastructure of security. Because all over the world, in every society, there will always be criminals. The real criminals. And there's nothing you can do to convince those ones. Even no amount of good welfare you might have provided.
They are just
in that habit. And of course, they have their own groups and associates who will continue to enjoy whatever loophole that the government might have created or the society might have created, and they will continue in the scenario of their criminality. And cases were, I remember the negotiation made by the Zamfara governor with these armed bandits surrounding the mining in Zamfara there. Despite the fact that he was able to grant them that amnesty, some actually decided not to go back. But very many still continued, despite all the largesse given to them. For example, I get worried when kidnapping is becoming a business. And you are saying it is amnesty that will solve that. Kidnapping for ransom. My worry is that no matter the amount of amnesty largesse you provide and the good welfare, you will still have pockets of other criminals among them who will not change their attitude. Okay. And so the security architecture has to come into play there.
It's like we are not totally in support of that. Okay.
It has to be classified.
Okay, all right. Now, Barrister, some of the people who have been saying one thing or the other against this proposed amnesty have been saying that the case of bandits that we have in Nigeria, that a good number of these people involved are not even Nigerians. They were people that, through illegal means come into Nigeria. We have these bandits in different forms. Like Doctor said, those one in Samvara, their target was the natural, gold mine and all of that. We have those other ones that rustle cow, and we have those ones that destroy farms. And we also have those ones that kidnap people, even to the extent of raping, killing, and all of that. If you look at the audacity of all these people, particularly those ones, do you think this amnesty effort would yield the expected positive results?
I want to say with respect that the issue we are talking about, as in the grant of amnesty to bandits and criminals in our society, is a fallout of the non-functional of our institution, especially our security apparatus. Okay. It's a failure, it's an indictment on their, on their functions. They have failed, and in the, we have to look at even the government, as a whole. What is the primary function of the government? To safeguard the security of life and properties of the citizenry. But in view of their own failure to perform their constitutional role, they are now looking at a way out, which I believe that will further compound the problem we are talking about. For example, this issue of bandits or banditry that we have around us now. You need to ask, what is the main purpose why these people go into this act? We just heard from their spokesman, this the Islamic cleric, Sheikh Gumi, saying that these bandits, they go into that business for money, for ransom. So, is there a just cause for somebody to take into criminality and say it's a just cause? He even said that they engage in banditry, to make a claim. It's a fight, it's ethnic war. Ethnic war. I was reading all this. If a spokesman of that group will be saying that they are fighting ethnic war, and those who are fighting ethnic war, you want to grant them amnesty. Would that one solve their problem? Will it solve their agitation? If they are saying they are going to kidnapping for money, so now you are giving them amnesty. And amnesty, take a lot of package that have to go along with it. It will involve money and some other things. But to my mind, this will not solve the problem. We have to look at our security architecture and be able to make sure that the government live up to the expectation. They have failed. Most example, they went after the NSAS issues. The government came forward saying that they are going to recruit more policemen. Where are we now? There has been issue between the IGP and the Police Service Commission, saying that I'm the one that have the power to recruit, you are not the one. The government promised to recruit 10,000 policemen. I don't know how far they have gone. We'll be talking about state police, no way. You see? So these people are taking all these loopholes to perpetrate their evils on our people. And because they are not being curtailed, they keep on spreading all over the country. Initially, they were in the northeast, wherever. Now they are coming down to us here. So we have to be alive to our responsibility as a government.
All right. Now, you have raised the critical issue that perhaps the failure of institutional platforms that should do this. But how do you react to the fact that some of those who are even in political offices are making statements that will embolden these bandits, when the same government are the ones, or those in government are the ones proposing this amnesty? Is this not talking from two sides of the mouth?
In any way, we cannot rule that aspect out of the way, because we find out that most of our leaders, the quality of our leaders, some of them are so sectional in their reasoning, their thinking. You know, we'll be talking about unity of our country, unity as a people, wherever. But I will tell you, as a person, that we are not united as a nation. And I will just give you, you know, when you talk about unity, talk about one Nigeria, then you have to look at the foundation of Nigeria. What is our foundation? For example, when you are to apply for any post, you ask you, where are you from? Your state of origin, your local government area. What are all these things?
And even place of birth.
A place of birth. So in the foundation already, there's no any unity. So somebody now saying that you can go any part of the country and live and stay and whatever, is it practicable? If I go to Safara or go to Borno or go to River State, would they employ me as a Yoruba man? Do I have free access to the facility there? You see? So when you now see some leaders now trying to say certain things that will try to safeguard the interest of their own section or their own ethnic group, then you begin to say, are we really united? Are we one? So these are issues that we need to talk about. We'll be talking about regionalism, we're talking about restructuring, but the government has been shying away from all those issues. We begin to postpone the evil, you know, the main thing to other time. Why not address certain fundamentals that we need to resolve on the table, rather than trying to be sectionalistic in our reasoning, in our approach to things? For example, we have to make an appointment. You look at where is that person from. Is he an Hausa man? Is he a Yoruba man? Is he an Igbo man? You don't even care. Even when you put a federal character in the mode of appointment, you sidetrack, you sideline other people, and nothing happens. So these are the issues that bothers everyone in the country.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Doctor. Now, Boko Haram actually started like militia, and eventually they turned out to be terrorist group. But initially, there was confusion about what was the purpose of their agitation. Okay. Some added religious flank that they were doing jihad. Some will tell you, no, this is not how those who believe in this religion should behave and all of that. But beyond all of this one, this banditry that we are now having, if you go through the reports from Kaduna, for instance, you will see it's like from one particular ethnic group
against the other.
But beyond this ethnic group, we still also have the fact that most of those who attack each other, they have different religions. When you look at all these complications, will it not be necessary for us maybe to look at the general problem in this Nigeria through maybe convocation of the various ethnic groups? Yes. What's your take on this?
Thank you very much, the moderator. Indeed, there was a paper which I wrote 2012, where I say Boko Haram insurgency as a symptom of political alienation and poverty. I looked at documentary evidences on ground. This so-called origin of the Boko Haram, the militia boys, they were political talks of many of the governors in the Northeast. They started like that. And they had some agreements that after winning elections, we will do this for you, we will do that for you, and so on. But some of these political leaders renegade on these promises. And along the line, they also found a way of empowering themselves, this Okada riding in Bauchi and so on. It was in fact, the climax of it was the directive given by the Bauchi governor, Yaguda then, to clear them, wearing, those of them who did not wear helmet. And some of them were, in fact, it was like a massacre. And from there on, they now took the vow that they will now be causing insurrection against the state. And it spread until it covered the whole Northeast. That was the beginning. So, in essence, some of them, especially those who have their origin from Nigerian political structure, they felt alienated along the line. Okay. They felt cheated along the line. And poverty is also very pandemic in that area in that part of Nigeria. If you go and look at the Bureau of Statistics classification, that Northeast happens to be the worst in terms of poverty index ratio. And we knew right from the onset that the Almajiri syndrome, this Almajiri syndrome of not catering for the youth in terms of making sure that they go to school, the Western school, neglecting them, leaving them under the scorch of the sun to go about begging for alms under some malams, will snowball to this kind of banditry and so on, because they are easy tools to be utilized under any insurrection. And from there on, those of them who had grown up to become adults themselves, they became hardened criminals. That had been the genesis. And that's why I'm worried. It is the failure of the state initially that actually led to most of these insurgencies. And from the failure, from the recklessness and the lack of inaction of most of the political leaders, then it now turned to become a state problem. And that is what we are facing now. And such that even that our borders are so porous, so it was easy even for all other neighboring criminals to join hands with the criminals within to continue to perpetrate these atrocities. So be it as it may, that's why I'm so worried that will it be very rightful that we grant amnesty to these hardened criminals who are even inviting some other criminal elements from other neighboring countries? Are we going to succeed? The amnesty case of that of Niger Delta is very peculiar, and it has been used to resolve that issue to a great extent. But if care is not taken, then criminals will even hijack governance. And behold, then it will continue to be a banana republic.
Okay. Now, one of the areas of Nigerians has always been that we have some particular group of Nigerians that most of them, or most of the time, they live in the forest. And we are talking, there is no hiding that one. These are majorly the
rural people, they live on agriculture.
Who live in the forest. They move their cattle here and there. Yes. And the people are now saying they should come to town, live in the town, go and herd your cattle and come back so that we know ourselves.
I'd made it known that there is no way, if you want to solve the issue of cattle rustling and farmers' herders' clashes, we are using that they will seize people's land and then give it to the Fulanis to be ranching their cows. No, it's a business. Yeah. Cattle rearing is a lucrative business. To such an extent that even our people were patronizing them to help them, buy cattle for them, to rear for them. Very many of our well-to-do people are patronizing these people. So the issue is that we have to modernize, acquire genuinely with compensation to help them ranch their cattle there. To some extent, it will go a long way, at least to remove the genuine, complicated, genuine businessmen among them. Yeah. But the criminals among them are these border crossers. Under the guise of cattle rearing also, we still have to strengthen our security architecture to be able to handle criminality in Nigeria.
Okay. All right. Well, Barrister, now, all of these things, there's no way we will talk about these issues without actually looking at what the statute books say. Yes, you have said earlier on that as long as the court has not pronounced a ruling on any of these people, if they decide to turn a good leaf, amnesty could be considered and all of that. But how do you handle someone who is illegally in the country and they're perpetrating evil? Now caught, and he now said, or he's now coming out to say that, look, I won't do this again, and they want to give him amnesty. When in the first instance, he doesn't even have the papers to
in Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
Oh. On that issue, I think there's a conflicting, there's a conflicting position on that area as to whether the bandits, they are majorly non-Nigerians or they are Nigerians. Well, the spokesman for the bandits said that these people are Nigerians, but all along, even the Mr. President said that most of these people came through maybe this Libya, whatever, from other neighboring countries. So we need to arrive at a conclusion. These people, are they Nigerians? If they are Nigerians, if they flout the law, get them arrested, prosecuted, and punished. If they are not Nigerian, get them arrested. If the crime committed need to be punished here, you punish them here, or they need to be deported, deport them back. So we have to be strict, enforce our law. But a situation whereby our security apparatus, most especially when they have a sentiment for certain set of people, because I'm an Hausa man, these are bandit people, they are Hausas, whatever, or you say that these are Christians, these are Muslims. You imagine what the spokesman of the bandits was even saying recently, that these bandits, they kept on attacking the people just as a revenge against the Christian soldiers killing the bandits. So they are now revenging. You imagine such a statement from an Islamic cleric who is acting as a spokesman for the bandits, and the government is rallying around such a person. So you understand? So the issue is that we have to enforce our law, and we should be able to be strict. You don't say that because this person is a Fulani or is an Hausa, is a Yoruba man, and because of that he should be spared. For example, we have been having issue with these S-men, devastating people's farm. So when you report at the police station, how did you get them arrested? Or if they were arrested, order from above, get them released. So how will you feel as a Nigerian? I begin to wonder, even in our state here, we'll be having issue of this S-men, ravaging people's farm. And we are trying to handle such with a gloved hand. And the earlier the better we sit up and be able to address this issue. These are criminalities. It's not a matter of just setting up a particular board or committee to look at their clashes. Address criminalities. If people have gone ravaging people's farm, get them arrested and punished. People will sit tight.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's still Focus Live, and we are still looking at whether government should grant amnesty to armed bandits. My guests are still in the house, but we have to go on this short break. By the time we return, you also have the opportunity to be part of this program. You will be able to call in and let us have your own opinion on this, whether amnesty should be granted to armed bandits or not. So we'll be back after this timeout. Don't go away.
I just want the papers, please.
Sir.
Salary don't enter. Yes, so. And month I never even reach self. Na salary plenty, oh. No wonder I no gree collect roja from my hand. Shut up, sir. I'm here to bail my younger brother.
happen.
With good laws,
proper funding, training,
and cooperation,
if it happen.
Welcome back. It's still Focus Live, and on the program today, we're looking at whether amnesty should be granted to armed bandits. And my guests in the house, together, that we've been looking at these topical issues for the past couple of minutes, Dr. Rashid ADETORO and Barrister George OYENIYI. They've actually given us a very solid background to this topic here today. And in this second part of the discussion, you have the opportunity to be part of it. You can call us, you can contribute, and if you have questions, you can also ask. The number will be on the screen, and in this second part, we shall be looking at how do we go about it, and what are our expectations from the government in terms of the amnesty being proposed. Yes, before we went on break, Barrister was telling us some legal aspects of the issue at stake, particularly for those of them that came through illegal routes and all of that. But now that government is proposing the amnesty, in your own opinion, what government, if this effort is going to genuinely address the matter, what should be the approach of the government?
The moderator. Sincerely, I must tell you, all Nigerians need amnesty. At the state of made some people to go to the extreme.
Okay.
Right now, in fact, the cost of living is so unbearable in very many homes. And that's why the issue of poverty in many of these criminal tendencies cannot be ruled out. We are saying that Nigeria as a state, and with our leadership, we have not been able to rise to the level by which we together and become hardened criminals in the name of banditry and so on. Many Nigerians are working like cops of ghost cops right now on the street. So,
sorry, we have a caller. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Mr.
Akande from Obadaoko.
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead with your...
Let me tell you, in this country we are keeping ourselves. We are keeping ourselves. This constitution, they may be food, but they will not be the way of Syria. We can continue like this. This is what we say, we are keeping on gunpowder. But now is that we have to be on that table. Let the doctors, the president, everybody sit and talk the truth. And let's know what is the cause of this problem. And what those politicians, they use and do. They have been released before.
Yeah.
They are now coming back to sleep there.
Yes.
And these people, we are the poor people that is respecting in this country. Let us be fair. Everybody is fair.
All right.
It's just clear.
All right. Thank you, Akande from Obadaoko.
And you are telling the people are suffering. Please, let them repent. This country is okay.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Akande from Obadaoko. He's suggesting that we should really sit on the round table, and that we should look at, of course, that was the question I asked you, that what should government be looking at if we want to, that is, what has been the reason behind this banditry in the first instance?
purely economic. Mostly purely economic. Even those who felt alienated from political swings is because they have lost the economic gains they expected.
Okay.
So, you see, our coming together, actually, you see, the issue of security is everybody's business. I want to agree with, let us all do that part. The issue of security, even as we are sitting down here, The issue of our own security in our various environments is our business, not left to government alone. But government is supposed to provide the necessary infrastructural base, architecture that will make it easy, governance easy for them also. Because where the rate of poverty continues, right now the inflation rate is almost 17%.
Yeah.
From 11% we have been battling with in the last December, November. So when you see, when people are being subjected to degraded lifestyle,
Yeah.
people's mind will become hardened to look for alternatives. And in most cases, we just have to look at, the government must look at how they genuinely, not political programs they are doing and so on, that they will say they have empowered 10 million and you cannot hardly find people who come out and say, yes, truly we have been empowered.
So let's listen to that caller. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Yeah.
So we
Hello.
need the
Hello. Okay.
we need serious economic elevation.
All right.
To move people out of poverty. There is serious poverty in the land. Don't let us deceive ourselves.
Okay. All right. Barrister, 200 million people. The combined figures of the armed forces plus police and all of that, I'm not sure everything is up to 5,000. So, could this be part of the problem why banditry fester?
Exactly. When we have failed to do what is needful, security. We've been talking that security is the first duty that is expected of any government. But we are not taking it serious, and we have been seeing the aftermath effect. For example, we know Nigeria has been ruled for many years by the military rule. The police have been neglected to the background. So you find out that most of the police, they are not being well taken care of, and even consider their number, their population, So we need more police than the military, to my mind.
Okay.
Because the police will be able to nip most of this crime from the bud. The problem we have in Nigeria is not external aggression to a certain extent.
No.
So if our police are well equipped, functional, all this will be out of place. You understand? So what I would suggest is that the government should live up to the expectation. Mr. President promised to recruit more policemen. We are yet to get that one done.
Sorry, someone on the line. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Turn down the volume on your TV.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. We can hear you.
Yeah, my name is Ayodele. I'm calling from Lagos.
Okay, Ayodele, you are welcome.
Okay. Please, I want to agree with two speakers in our studio. Yeah, coming to my mind.
Okay.
But as issues politically in this country, I think it will go forward. At what point, treating somebody who has done wrong because he needs to face what the law says. Let everybody take the consequences of his or her.
Yes.
If I decide to do the law abiding, and I'm not discovered about people that are wrong, I think government is able to take care of them at the end of the day. Then, don't stop me for also throwing away my good deeds. I'm following through. So what the doctor said, that everybody needs AMNESTY. What happens to the civil servant that works for 35 years? And after retirement, he doesn't get it. So that person does it not need AMNESTY?
Even people's right.
But critically, you don't have to be treating things with gloves. Everything must be done holistically. The law is the law. Let us do things the way it is done and not be cosmetic about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you so much. So we already have somebody in the camp of Dr. That all of us, we need that.
Is that no way by which you are marginalized also at your own level?
So yeah, we can conclude on your...
As I was saying,
yes.
that the government, to a certain extent, have failed us in this aspect of lack of security, and they need to live up to the expectation. Nigerians as a people, we must make demands on our government, and most especially the National Assembly. It's unfortunate that we have a crop of people that are only there for their own selfish interest, just for their purse. So greedy and selfish. The reason why I'm saying this is that just recently, some crop of people that they were compulsorily retired, these are our service chiefs, now to compensate them for their ineptitude and their failure. Someone nominated them to become ambassador. Now I just heard this afternoon that they went away to go and be enjoying
these Boko Haram members that they felt were not too dangerous. Okay. I think they used a frame at that time that surrendered, and they rehabilitated them, and they've been reintegrated back into the society.
Most of them in military force.
Well, if you look at this effort and the outcome, do you still have a strong wish against amnesty to the banditries? Before you answer that, let me put this call. You will answer it after this call. Hello. Hello, you are on already. Hello, good afternoon. Can you make it snappy? Your name and where are you calling from? Your name. Okay, it's like...
good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Your name, where are you calling from?
I am Dr. Ogudeke from Ike.
From?
I am taking to go and negotiate with the bandits.
We are not discussing negotiation. We are discussing amnesty.
The governor who did it. Hello?
Hello, I'm with you.
Am I on?
You are on. Please go ahead. If you are looking at me, wash my hands. Go on.
Who did it?
The line is not...
Wait,
I don't... We won't be able...
One big word for the nation. If we continue negotiating, more people will be coming out. That's it.
All right. The line is not... But you've
security of Nigeria.
All right. The line is not too clear, but he has made this point, and he's talking about this issue of negotiation. Yeah. You will recall that recently, Sheikh Gumi had been in the forest twice. The first one was for Kankara. The second one was for Kagara in Niger State. And the question possibly that one will ask is that if it is so easy to locate where these people are, why is it now difficult to actually root these people?
You know the Almajira, they learn from most of these Malans. So I'm not surprised that you know some of them when they grew up. So you know some of them. You might even be having contact with them.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Islamic cleric.
But you mentioned something, the issue of rehabilitation and reintegration in the military force. I doubt the sincerity of that purpose. And it is also from some documentary evidence from what the military was saying, that why they have not been able to overcome these Boko Haram insurgents was because there were informers within and around.
Yeah.
So, are we sure that the so-called rehabilitated are still not part of the informants? So, that's a question mark, maybe for them to continue their profiling later.
Okay.
Now, coming back to your issue of negotiation. the way I've seen this thing is like, if care is not taken, it will get out of hand. It will even breed other criminals. Those who have genuinely repented, whom they know will not go back again. That type of negotiation is a desperation because, of course, if I were to be a parent also whose child had been kidnapped, well, I would be bewildered architecture. You see, Sheikh Gumi has been a popular, and don't forget the Almajiri syndrome that I talked about. Most of them emanated from those groups. And it was because they were neglected later. And the state, because of the economic failure of it before, I've said it, that the northern government, precisely now I'm sectionalizing it. Don't focus on federal government. Federal government is like the state governments in the north that will alleviate
security apparatus and make sure that the people live in peace.
Just simply face the law as it were in 30 seconds.
Yes, while I align with the barrister, I want to make a modification along the line after serving some punishment.
After serving, so you are still saying that no amnesty. All right.
It's criminality.
That is why we're going to draw the curtain on the program today, Focus Live, and we've been looking at Shula, who has been part of this program, and those who also call in. I thank all of you for being part of it. Focus Live will return same time next week, and on Tuesday.